As long as I'm able to serve, I'm going to serve. As of right now, I'm still in a capacity to serve, and that's exactly what I plan on doing.
That was Staten Island Congressman Michael Grimm last week after he pleaded guilty to federal tax evasion. He pledged to continue serving in the House of Representatives even as he faced prison time. But Grimm has changed his mind.
And because he changed his mind, the GOP goes from 247 seats to 246 seats when Congress starts back up on January 6. In just days from GOP control of the House and Senate, another House member in trouble. In addition to the Michael Grimm situation, now news that Steve Scalise has some political problems. Scalise criticized for speaking to a white supremacist organization. Now, our guest to break it all down, Michael Patrick Flanagan, who served one term as congressman for Illinois' 5th District. He joins us live on Midpoint. Good afternoon, Mike. How you doing?
Fine. How are you?
Doing great. During the recent campaign, Grimm vowed he would not resign, won the race by 13 percentage points over the Democrat, but in the end, did he really make the right decision, maybe the only decision to step down?
I don't know his personal situation, but there was nothing secret about his troubles, and to win by 13 points during his troubles, his constituency obviously had a great deal of confidence in him and thought that he would do a good job for them. I'm guessing that his decision to step down is more about the national politics and the fact that he wants to make an accommodation with his district, with his state, and with prosecutors. So God bless him. It's probably a good decision, but again, it doesn't sound like Staten Island has any real trouble with him.
A good decision, but maybe a decision that should have been made a lot earlier. Did he owe it to the voters, if he was going to take that plea deal for tax evasion, to do it before the November election? Because obviously now that seat is up for grabs.
I think they returned him to office. It's a great thing about the ballot box is they get to do whatever they want to do with it, and they chose to return him to office knowing his troubles. I don't think that there's any real problem with him standing for election. I don't think he has any obligation to do anything other than try and represent the people well, and when that becomes impossible, then he'll take the appropriate course of action. It sounds like he did the right thing.
All right, let's talk about the race. Former Democratic Representative Michael McMahon, who narrowly lost to Grimm in 2010. He's apparently expressed some interest in the seat. What do you think of his chances, given Grimm was reelected in November by constituents who knew full well that he was being indicted for fraud?
I don't know. I don't know much about Staten Island. It's a seat that was held for years by my friend Susan Molinari and years before by her father. It's been a traditional Republican seat. I saw the head of the GOP was on Newsmax earlier today, and he sounded rather hopeful about the seat, so I am too. I hope it works out well.
Yeah, it seems like most observers are saying it is pretty safely in the Republican corner, so we'll have to wait and see on that. Now, in 2010, John Boehner promised to institute a zero-tolerance policy for ethics violations within the GOP caucus. Grimm spoke with John Boehner yesterday. Do you think this was really more of a resignation or a termination?
The members don't work for the Speaker, and the presumption that they do is incorrect. Members work for the 750,000 people who sent them to Congress, and once again, this guy was sent to Congress with this cloud over him by 13%. So his district obviously feels well about him. I think if the National Party, if Boehner's views mattered at all, I think they mattered at the point that a good decision could be made by Grimm for his district, not for the party.
All right, let's talk Louisiana Congressman Stephen Scalise, the House Majority Whip. He admitted Monday that he spoke at a meeting hosted by white supremacists. He also says he was not involved with the group. He's not a racist. Should Stephen Scalise be allowed to keep his leadership post?
He's elected by the House Republican Conference. Again, he's not appointed. And if the House Republican Conference would like him to step aside, they'll have absolutely no trouble telling him that. My guess is that he made a speech 12 years ago to a group that he didn't really know or understand, and nothing has come out from that speech that he's made that he said that's nuts. Members of the Democratic Party talk to the Nation of Islam and other black supremacist groups all the time, and it doesn't hurt them at all in leadership views or in their electoral ways. In many ways, it's a badge of honor for many of them. This is a dozen years ago, and I don't understand. I don't think there's a there.
Michael Patrick Flanagan is joining us from Washington, D.C. We're going to come right back and talk about another Chicago politician, the President of the United States, some of the comments that he made to NPR. It's straight ahead right here on Midpoint for a Tuesday afternoon. I'm Rick Blackwell in for Ed Berliner. Thanks for joining us.